around to the reverse side, where you see the two great seals of the United States of America.
Yep.
Okay? Now, if you notice, it says those are supposed to be the two great seals of the United States of America, correct?
Yep.
Those aren't. Those are the two seals of the Order of the Illuminati. Now, I have all this memorized from my days in the Illuminati.
Now, this went on the dollar bill in 1935, but this reflects ancient beliefs of secret societies that go back literally before the birth of Christ. It symbolizes the ancient goal of secret societies of the establishment of what in Scripture we see in Revelation 13 as the reign of the beast and the false prophet.
History of the Great Seal is a very fascinating story. I got one right here. The Great Seal of the United States, or is it the Great Seal of the Illuminati? There's a lot more than meets the eye.
This is not some soulless factory. This is long, quiet days with the Father. This is obedience. This is cold, early mornings, tired, rough hands, and hot summer days. This is quality before quantity. This is where you're not just a customer, you're a client. I don't just work for you, but with you. This is where your ideas come to life. I am Joshua Watts. I love what I do and that I'm able to use my skills to serve our Father and you. I look forward to working with you. This is Joshua Watts Leather Company.
This is an historic moment. We have in this past year made great progress in ending the long era of conflict and Cold War. We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Nothing less than a new world order. This is the pledge of the world's most powerful leaders, representing 90% of the global economy. Thursday's G20 summit, they say, has changed the rules of the game.
A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So.
And everybody, welcome to Breaking the New World Order, News, Prophecies, Spiritual Warfare, and Combating Political Correctness. That's what we're doing today, guys. So I want to welcome everybody here and welcome everybody live in the chat room. What's going on, everybody? Thank you, Harold McCain, for moderating the chat. And Uncle Obvious and Valerie, if you guys are there. Thank you guys for doing that. And just say I want to say hello to everybody. So got a lot of news to talk about today. It's crazy stuff going on, man. And like always, it's like the same thing all the time. So before we get going, man, and I want to thank ShakeandWakeRadio.com for carrying the show. And I got my slides in order here. ShakeandWakeRadio.com for carrying the show. Thank you, Andy, for carrying on your audio edition of this show here. And also, BeforeIt'sNews.com. I'm a contributor writer for them as well. And tonight's show is brought to you by WattsLeather.com, where your custom leather project comes to reality, literally. Like anything you can imagine leather, they make it. Good stuff, man. So we're going to get into some stuff today, and some of this stuff here too. So you can't make this stuff up, I tell you. And you would think these companies would learn, okay, from going woke, okay, they're going broke. Budweiser, Disney, now Ford's joining in the fray to make the gay Raptor, literally. You can't make this stuff up. They got this commercial out there now, rainbow-colored Raptor, whatever, yeah. Watch how fast Ford goes broke. Seriously. Yeah, it's just disgusting, really is. And Ford's a American pickup truck, whatever the case. It's like the king of the American pickup trucks. And now, they're making it a queen thing. So you can't make the stuff up, man. You really can't. Tons of news to talk about today. So, like I said, go woke, go broke, and let's see what happens to Ford now. And you think these companies will learn. I mean, especially what happened to Budweiser. I think this month alone, they lost 25% of sales. There was one Walmart, they were giving cases away for free. They said just take them because they can't sell them, and you got to sell them by a certain date. Whole cases of Budweiser. Bud Light, I'm sorry. Crazy stuff, man. Really is. And like I said, you can't make this stuff up. You really can't. So, I want to start off with a prayer quick. And so, Jesus, Yeshua, forgive us all of our sins. And Heavenly Father, we come to you and ask you to bless us all and bless this broadcast and protect us all from the forces of evil and help to wake everybody up. In your mighty name, amen. So, so I want to welcome everybody to the Breaking New World Order show. And if you recognize me, for years I did a show called The Dan Bidondi Show, the news show. So I kind of changed it up a little. So instead of sticking to strictly all the news about Trump, this, that, and the other thing, we mix it up here. So we bring you a little spiritual warfare, a little prophecy relating to what's going on in the news. Of course, we bring you the news, but most of the news I try to pick out is popular news and also news that the mainstream media is not really talking about. So, and put pieces to the puzzle together. Weave through the lies and disinformation of the mainstream media, Fox, CNN, fake news, yeah. So we try to weave through all that and just get to the nitty-gritty of things. So speaking nitty-gritty, I don't know if you heard a company called CRISPR. They make, it's disgusting. Okay, they make these laboratory-grown beef. Grown from a laboratory. I don't know how you do this. I didn't even look to see how they do that. But anyway, this company gets FDA approval, right? The Food and Drug Administration says green light for consumption. So they're giving the green light for them to make sausages for people to eat. And it's a first of its kind approval, could change how we think about gene-edited foods. And I got to watch what I say. Anything medical or election type stuff, YouTube frowns upon if you say the wrong thing to them. And so God forbid you speak the truth. But this is what the article says. So it's a gene-edited food. Literally, they make the stuff in the lab. It's not real. I mean, it's not real beef or whatever. It's fake. So the FDA has given Washington State University researchers the green light to feed 5 gene-edited pigs to people. Gene-edited pigs. The approval could help build public trust in CRISPR's food. The name alone right there, CRISPR, that just doesn't sit right with me. Anyway, CRISPR Foods to be the first step in a new food revolution. And the background farmers have been selectively breeding animals for thousands of years, pairing parents and desirable traits to create offspring with more eggs, more meat, less disease, and all that stuff. So they talk about over the years, farmers, they know how to breed animals. This way, the meat's more fat or whatever the case they have to do, but they don't alter the genetics of it. They just breed it and, try to get the right genes and all that. So unlike this company, these people. And I got to watch what I say on this because of YouTube here. So while we have a selective breeding, thank you so much for meat we eat today, slow and precise. So it's not, here's the thing, they make it sound like it's all natural. Like with farmers, though. It's nothing to do with that. This is genetically created crap from the the lab. And genetically altered pigs, literally. And then they want to make this a normal. So, yeah. In the chat room, let me know, you guys, if you would eat this stuff. Yeah, fake pigs. That's what it is, if you want to put it that way. This is fake pigs. Even real pigs don't even touch it with a 10-foot pole, but still. Yeah. And, of course, the FDA would approve of that, right? Yeah. No other country in the world would do that. You know that, right? Most countries, even Mexico, of all places. You know, in the United States here, they approve of anything. Any sludge that goes out to the people, they approve of it, the FDA. It's all about money, you know. And most stuff we have in our food is banned in most countries. Go figure, right? And I can't get to too many details because, they're strict on YouTube here, so we've got to respect that policy. So anyway, moving on. So Bud Light sales, the stock of Bud Light continues to crash as sales plunged nearly 25% in a week. So I said it was a month earlier, but it's a week. Yeah. Sales of Bud Light owner Anheuser-Busch continue to tumble as a sixth straight week since the company's social media promotion involved an influencer, Dylan Maluva. Well, I don't even know what that, whatever that is. The transgender that they promoted, right, on a beer. So in the weekend in May 13th, the sales were down 24.6% year over year, according to the industry. And the consultant company was Williams Consultant and Nielsen IQ Research. The sales drop and other headwinds faced the Anheuser-Busch reflected the company's stock price, which tanked nearly 10% in the past month. So long story short, they said this quarter here, 25% in the stocks. The stocks, okay, and the sales plunged 25% in a week. Like I said, you go woke, you go broke. And also, don't forget, we just talked about this. This is Ford's brand new truck. They already had the Raptor out there for a couple of years, but now this year is the 2023 edition, whatever the case, for the summer. For June, they're rolling this out in the month of June coming up for Pride Month, and there you go. Yeah, so let's see what happens. We'll cover this as it goes along, but let's see what happens with Ford if they go broke too. And I'm sure there's going to be major backlash because, and the thing is, people, and I got to state this right out, right, for new listeners out there, right, nobody's judging anybody, whatever the case, all right? And here's the thing. If you're you, okay, personally, right, whatever you want to do, okay, in your bedroom, okay, I may not agree with it, but it's none of my business, okay? It's your right in the United States of America. If you want to have a guy and a girl, whatever you want to do, okay, in your own house, okay, none of my business. And most of the population feels that way. But again, okay, when the stuff is shoved down your throat, literally, that's when people get upset, especially when it starts involving children. Especially when they start reading the stories to the children with the junk hanging out, telling the kids, it's okay to chop your nuts off. It's okay, and all this garbage, just feed them. It's okay, little boys, to dress as girls. No, it's not. I would get my butt kicked in school if I ever did something like that when I went to school. You know what I mean? So, yeah. That's where we have a problem. Then they start putting this crap on the Bud Light. And leave it the heck out of there. Seriously. If you want to have a rainbow flag in your house, go for it. I could care less. But when you start putting this garbage, okay, in the public sector, right? Nobody wants to see that crap. If I was to do something to my wife, okay, in public, okay, we get arrested for indecent exposure, and rightfully so. But these people in the parades, you should see the stuff that goes on in these parades. X-rated stuff, right? And that's okay. That's diversity. That's equity, right? But you do that with your girlfriend, not that, I would ever do that, but you do that with your girlfriend on the beach or something, yeah, see what happens there. You'd be getting locked up for indecent exposure, and rightfully so. So check this out now. This is disgusting. Tuck-friendly construction. Yeah, bathing suits and for kids too. So Target, this is Daily Mail, all right, Target takes emergency action to avoid Bud Light situation and removes the tuck-friendly women's swimwear and LGBTQ products from display in Southern stores. As the CEO defends the line. And that CEO there trying to reach out to the, LGBT community, And, of course, if you go to Snopes.com and all that, they'll say it's, the fact checkers, right? The very people who lie to you every day. Yeah, the fact checkers. They say, oh, no, that's not for kids. Well, what are we looking at then? Yeah, woman, and look at the little kids' clothes. Look at the sign right there, and you could actually walk into Target and see the stuff. Tuck-friendly construction, extra crotch coverage. What? So in other words, the guy who wants to be a girl, okay, could tuck his junk in between his legs, and they got a thing for it. I'm trying to be clean as possible, so excuse me, guys. So, yeah, Target CEO defended the company's controversial tuck-friendly clothing line, and Brian Cornell said its a store is focused on all families with this product. No families should be involved with this garbage. Leave the kids out. This is where we get pissed, okay, as American citizens, as parents, okay? This is where we get ticked off. Because when you rub the stuff down our kids' throats, there's a problem. I don't go to libraries and say, hey, kids, it's okay to, have sex with your girlfriend in public or something like that. I don't promote that stuff. And the same thing goes for them. You know what I mean? You can't be promoting sexual promiscuity and all that garbage with the kids. What the hell is wrong with people? Seriously. But, you're a bigot, Dan. How dare you say something because you are such a bigot because you don't agree with them. Yeah, then I stand guilty. That's for sure. So that's crazy, man. It really is. Yeah, that's some of the clothing line. That's bathing suits and, yeah, they say for women, but, yeah, for men. And that's the CEO. Just be you and feel the love. This is the garbage, guys. There's some, yeah, right, look at that. 'Twas the night before Pride. Look at that, the little kids, yeah. Oh, yeah, about, Snopes.com. Oh, they're not doing that to kids. Oh, the fact checkers are saying that. Oh, what are we looking at then? These are the books sold in Target. Yeah, well, what are we doing? This is, oh, man, it's disgusting. That's a guy. She's a man. Yeah. But, there's adult whatever, but check, that's disgusting right there. And if you notice, he's got two fathers, or two, whatever the heck they are. Or two mothers, whatever, I don't know what they are, but yeah. This is what they're selling in the store, Target. But yeah, we're not supposed to say nothing, right? We're supposed to be quiet about it and accept it, because it's bigotry to say something against it. Well, yeah, I'm going to say something definitely against it because this is disgusting. Look at stuff on his clothing. They, them, all that stuff. Naked woman on T-shirts. Unreal. Actually, this week I'm going to try to stop in the Target. There's one up the road from me. I'm going to stop there and actually bite my tongue when I go in there and see if what kind of stuff they got in there. Yeah, because June's right around the corner for Pride Month, and yeah, this is just horrible. It really is. And there's a CEO there. Well, he's probably like, oh yeah, we gotta rub the stuff down your kids' throats. Yes, because we like grooming children at Target. That's what they do. Seriously, man. You ever going to Target? Seriously, you ever going to the store Target? It's weird, man. It really is. You go into Walmart and some other place, right? And they got music playing in the background and all that. You go into Target, there's nothing. You ever notice that? My cousin used to work for Target, right? And I'm like, why don't they have music? There's something in the background, you know what I mean? It's just weird. Oh, because they want to focus on a customer. You know what I mean? It's just very weird in those stores. It really is. If you ever go into a Target, you'll see what I'm talking about. They don't play music at all. You know, they're up in the intercom and all that stuff. They don't play music. Very weird. Yeah, it's just this. That's a kid's look. The kid's little baby's thing. That's what makes me sick right there. You know what I mean? If you're an adult, you want to wear whatever, okay? Seriously. I mean, like, whatever floats your boat. I think it's disgusting, but whatever. You're an adult, but when you rub this stuff down the kids' throats like this, literally, then you indoctrinate them with this crap. This is satanic to the core. Yeah. Unreal, man. And moving on, yeah. So, the Department of Justice, right, to announce a new law enforcement policy to commemorate George Floyd's death. That's right. Remember the criminal who stuck a knife or whatever to a pregnant woman's stomach, robbed the store, beat somebody up? Then the cops caught him, whatever the case, and they ended up killing him. Yeah, the cops did kill him. I'm not going to lie about that. I watched the video. They did murder the guy. You know, plain and simple. I mean, they had him subdued. They could have picked him up, threw him in the car. But however, still, you know what I mean? Here is United States government glorifying criminals. It was a shame how they killed him, absolutely. I'm not going to, sugarcoat that. And that cop there, I mean, like, he right on his carotid artery. And I take martial arts and all that stuff. I know what the stuff is. And Judge Floyd's laying on the ground, already subdued, out like light, right? And the police officer had his knee right on his neck. And regardless if he was drugged up or not, whatever, that should have never happened. The proper maneuver for that is you put your knee on the guy's back to suspend him on the ground like that. And he was already handcuffed. Not on his neck where his carotid artery is. And I examined that video over and over and over again when that happened. And that was murder, plain and simple. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not taking sides with that. That was murder. However, it doesn't justify the stuff that he's done to become a criminal. And now the United States Department of Justice, this moron here, needs to go. Mr. Garland there, he needs to go, plain and simple. So the Justice Department plans to release its new anti-discrimination policy. Oh, yeah. So do not discriminate against criminals, guys. How dare you? Don't discriminate against criminals. So if you see that guy up the road that goes and shoots a couple people and robs a store, don't discriminate him. You let him go. That's part of the reparations. That's part of, diversity. Just let him do it because he's entitled to it, right? And you call him a criminal. Dare you. Okay? Dare you call these people pedophiles, whatever the case, you're discriminating against them. But yeah, that's what they're doing. And the Justice Department, all places, right, plans to release its new anti-discrimination policy for federal law enforcement officers on May 21st anniversary of George Floyd's death. So yeah, the DOJ announced its deliberate schedule to honor George Floyd's death. A source familiar with the proceedings told the Daily Caller the source requested anonymity for fear of professional retribution. So somebody anonymously reported this. So under the new policy, federal law enforcement officers will be prohibited from using neighborhood crime statistics in law enforcement activities and will be banned from considered an FSC when developing sources within foreign terrorist organizations, the Daily Caller reported. And regarding race, the use of race, ethnicity, gender, national origin, religion, sexual orientation, and gender identity. An executive order, and yeah, it's going to be executive order by President Joe Biden. This disgusting stuff, yeah. And Biden announced executive order advancing effective, accountable policing and criminal justice practices to enhance public trust and safety. So enhance public trust. So yeah, all right, public. If you go out looting and rioting and you're doing it for BLM or something like that, that's fine. Yeah, we'll honor you. Yeah, unbelievable. Really is. It's disgusting. Supporting a criminal to commemorate George Floyd, and they got statues of him now. It's unreal. But if you say anything, you're a racist. How dare you say anything because you are a racist if you disagree with this. Again, executive order. This is disgusting. So basically what they're saying, that you police officers out there, you can't do your job when you try to identify somebody. You can't use race, ethnicity, gender, national origin, religion, sexual orientation, or gender identity. So how is a cop supposed to report something? Seriously, what is a cop supposed to say in his report? You can't use his religion, okay, and you really, most of the time, religion has not doing anything anyway when it comes to crimes, right? You can't use his race, his ethnicity, his gender, sexual orientation, gender identity. How do you describe somebody then? Like, seriously, if you book somebody, right, how do you describe that person? For the records. They got to take your fingerprints, they take your mugshot, right? They write your statistics down, how tall you are, how much you weigh about, all that stuff, right? A male, whatever the case, female. They can't do that. How do you, and help me understand, how do you, I would like to ask these people, how would the police officers process somebody or identify somebody? How would they do that? Unbelievable. This is, just when you think things could not get any stupider. Yeah, and it limits the FBI's infiltration of terrorist groups. So you couldn't say Islamic terrorist or anything like that. Yeah. What a joke, seriously, man. What a joke. And I can't wait for the elections, man. And I know it's all rigged. Well, I got to watch what I say. YouTube, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I just hope and pray that something happens. I really do. That God puts his hand in the elections. That's all I have to say. I'm going to leave it at that. But, yeah, so if you don't see me next week, guys, we got a suspension because I said the E word on YouTube here. So that's why I wanted to do the show on Rumble, but I'm still trying to figure Rumble out. Rumble, it's a good platform. It's still building up, but right now, it's like, it works and it doesn't work here and there. You know what I mean? So that's why I wanted to originally do this show here on Rumble because I hate being censored what I could say. So I might do that eventually down on the road in the future, but I just want to build the show up and get everybody over on Rumble to do that. This way I don't have to bite my tongue or watch what I have to say because I could say a million other things I wanted to say because I can't now on YouTube. So switching gears here, report confirms dozens of senators are being issued taxpayer-funded satellite phones in preparation for what a disruptive event, they're saying. And it was a report confirmed the United States senators have been issued emergency satellite phones. And CBS News reported that the devices are part of a series of new security measures being offered to senators by Karen Gibson, Senate Sergeant at Arms. So the big question is, why are they doing it? But sources confirmed to CBS that all 100 senators will be offered the phone last month, and more than 50 of them. So basically, half of the people, the senators already accepted them. So the Department of Homeland Security claims that the phones are a security backstop in the case of emergency that takes out the communications in part of America. So our regular cell phones, they run off, those antennas. I gotta watch what I say, man. This is why I hate this, because I hate being limited what I can say. So, yeah, the towers, okay, the phones, they run off the towers. There's my little boy there. So they run off the towers, right? And so that's how our phones operate. You know what I mean? You get signals and all that. So the satellite ones, they run directly off satellites. So you could be on a mountain somewhere in the middle of nowhere and you still get cell phone service. And a friend of mine has a satellite phone, and they're pretty cool, but they're expensive. You know what I mean? Very expensive. So you could be like flying in an airplane like 30,000 feet up in the air and still get service. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. But they're giving these away for senators. So what's this emergency plan they got going on? So let's see if congressmen get this too, and other politicians. It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, anybody in the chat room, if you want to jump in on that, you can. Yeah, thank you guys in the chat room. What's up, DJG? What's up, Bobby Hale, Jason T, Lester, Mercy, all that good. Everybody here. Yeah, Jane, what's going on? And yeah, just want to say hello to everybody. And guys, we also got a donation link in the chat room too if you want to help support this operation. And it funds the studio here and everything you see here. So I appreciate everybody's help with that. And without God, mainly, the show would not be possible. So thank you guys so much for the support, and like, share, and subscribe. So check this out. The latest scam, I call this. I don't buy this for 1 minute. You might have heard of it. Yesterday, some bloke, you guys, drove a U-Haul into one of the security bars at the lighthouse. This is all over the media. So U-Haul truck smashes into security barrier near White House. This gentleman here. Now check out the story, right? An investigator says a 19-year-old driver initially crashed into the gates outside of the left area park, right? Now, where's the pictures here? So I'm trying to get to the pictures. Hang on a second. Oh, that is the same one. All right, hold on. Try to get to the picture because I want to show you guys something. Let's go to fake news. Play the sad. So basically, this guy smashes in the said he wanted to take over the White House, right? He flew into D.C., right? No weapons, okay, and goes to D.C. to rent a U-Haul.
The video tells the story. Witnesses say Varsity ran the barricade repeatedly, and law enforcement sources say he climbed out of the truck with a Nazi flag and said he wanted to kill the president and seize power. Everybody is thinking the worst. I hope it's not the worst, but we have to be aware of what it could be. Secret Service or police
Arrested the 19-year-old
and charged him with threatening to kill. The story. Witnesses say Varsith Kandala ran the barricade repeatedly, and law enforcement sources say he climbed out of the truck with a Nazi flag and that he said he wanted to kill the president and seize power.
Everybody is thinking the worst. I hope it's not the worst, but we have to be aware of what it could be.
Secret Service and Park Police arrested the 19-year-old and charged him with threatening to kill, kidnap, or inflict harm on the president, as well as assault with a dangerous weapon and other charges. They searched the U-Haul with a robot, finding a backpack and a notebook scrawled with handwritten notes, allegedly saying how much he admired Hitler. But the back of the truck appeared to be empty, just a dolly inside, no explosives. A LinkedIn profile for Varsith Kandala says he graduated from high school and was jobless, but hoping for something in data analytics. Law enforcement sources say he flew from his home near St. Louis to Dulles, where he rented that truck and drove to the White House. Now, the teen allegedly told investigators that, quote, Nazis have a great history and that he looked up to Hitler as a strong leader. The White House, the Capitol, of course, have long been magnets for people struggling with their mental health, and investigators say that that may be an issue in this case. He's going to go before a federal magistrate.
So I don't know if you guys buy that. Who's gonna fly into DC, right? Rent a U-Haul truck, right? No weapons, mind you, right? No weapons, just with a Nazi flag. And how do you expect to take over the White House with a U-Haul with no weapons? I smell false flag. That's a bunch of BS, if you ask me. And of course, you can see the emphasis of that gentleman right there, right? And of course, they're going to say it's white national supremacists. That's what they're going to say. Even though the guy's like, he looks Hispanic or something. Real race has nothing to do with it, but that's what they're going to paint. You know, oh, white supremacists, whatever the case, that's what they're going to paint. But and then mysteriously, they found a Nazi flag. Give me a break, man. And the guy praising that. Well, I don't buy this for a minute. And, the Secret Service, the FBI, and you guys are lame, seriously. If you expect us to believe this story, okay, yeah. What a joke. Seriously, what a joke. So let me know what you guys think in the chat room. Lariva says exactly, Dan. Might have mental problems. Jared Miller says, MK Ultra at its best. Yeah, exactly. Exactly tactical. It's MK Ultra at its best. Because I don't buy this for 1 minute. I really don't. I don't know, man. I just don't. It just smells like a bunch of horse poop. That's it. It really does. And false flag. That's what I have to say. Hashtag false flag. That's what that is. So sadly, the sheep will buy it and hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, KWG. And somehow, some way, they'll link it to white supremacists, right? They'll do that, right? And they'll link it to white supremacy and all this stuff. And, it's kind of coincidence, too. Didn't the president just say, like last week or something? Didn't he just come out to say, President Joe Biden, that white supremacy is the biggest threat to this country? Didn't he just say that? He made a big announcement about that, right? White supremacy is the biggest threat. Out of everything in the country, right? White supremacy is the biggest threat, he says, right? Then mysteriously, days later, this happens with a guy praising Hitler with a Nazi flag. Yeah, I smell false flag all over. You can just see the writings on the wall, seriously. And what a joke, seriously. And if this was legit, okay, the guy would have to have some kind of mental issues, seriously. I'm just, you have to laugh at it, you really do, because nobody got hurt anyway. Oh, thank God. But, still, man, what a joke. What a joke. So, anyway, moving on here. And, before you do that, again, I just want to point out, the president just got done. Let me see if I can find that real quick here. Joe Biden, white supremacy, biggest threat. So he just got done saying this right here. Washington Post right there. So, of course, I don't have membership here. Well, you get the point, right? Political, YouTube, Washington Post, KHQA, Dallas Morning. Yeah, Biden says white supremacy is the greatest threat to America, right? And magically this happens now, right? Yeah. Yeah, a guy with a Nazi flag. Yeah. Magically, that just happens, right? Yeah, just like a week later. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. So basically, when they do these things, they do something, allow something like this to happen, so it just highlights what they're saying. So now, next time Joe Biden comes out, they say, oh, look at the white supremacists that try to ram through the gates. And I don't know if this guy's white or what. You can't tell by a picture sometime, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what his color is. They're going to use this to say, yo, this is why white supremacy is the biggest threat to this nation. Because a 19-year-old just ran through the gates, supposedly. What a joke, seriously. But that's what they do, man. That's called a false flag. And false flag is like, it doesn't say it's fake or nothing. No. False flag is allow something or stage something to happen to highlight a political agenda. Or blame a political enemy. That's what they do. That's what a false flag is. So moving on, and of course they'll link it to guns and everything else. So even though we didn't have no guns, that's how they'll link it anything they can. So quick article here on the Second Amendment. So this is a good thing here. So right now, which I guess this is within days, they're supposed to be hearing this case, but this is some good news here for the Second Amendment. So a new Supreme Court case seeks to legalize assault weapons in all 50 states. So all the Nazi states like Rhode Island here and all that to try to take people's, assault weapons. That's a weapon that, a semi-automatic, that's all it is. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. The AR-15 is not an assault rifle, it's an armalite rifle. Whatever the case, but there's several states trying to ban these things, and some have banned these things. So, of course, these cases go into the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, one by one, has been shooting these gun bans down. And the high-capacity magazines bans down. So they're like, yeah, it's unconstitutional. They're common-use weapons. It's unconstitutional to ban them. The government has no authority at all. State or government doesn't have no authority to touch the Second Amendment. Well, this case here is supposed to be, it's a National Association for Gun Rights versus the City of Naperville. A case that could legalize assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in all 50 states. So this would like really hit nationwide. So right now here in Rhode Island, we have pending legislation, right? They took hearings on them already to ban assault weapons here in Rhode Island, right? They banned high-capacity magazines last year. It's a magazine that holds over 10, here in Rhode Island. So we got a lawsuit going on, and it's heading to the Supreme Court. But right now we have to sit around and just use 10-round magazines, whatever the case. But so basically, a lot of states that did this, right, then when it does get to the Supreme Court says, no, you can't do that. It's unconstitutional. The law gets stricken down, right? So a lot of states, like our states, were waiting for this. And but here in Rhode Island, they did hearings on public testimony and all that on assault weapons being here in Rhode Island, which is a month ago. So right now, I think that's what they're waiting for, because they're all waiting for this. That's why there's nothing going on, because they want to vote on this. The governor keeps saying, let's get these bills on the floor so we can vote on them. They're stalling because I think they're waiting for this case here. Because if there was no case, they would have jumped that probably that day they would have voted on it to get on the floor. And once it gets on the floor here in Rhode Island, they'll pass it no matter what. It's disgusting. You got a bunch of baby killer Nazis here in the state of Rhode Island, most of them. So anyway, this is nationwide though. So this law challenges every state that's trying to ban high-capacity magazines and assault weapons. So the case challenges Naperville, Illinois, according to similar Illinois state law, both the ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. So basically, a victory in this case against Naperville would affect the entire country. And the thing is, the Supreme Court, they've been hearing these cases. They need to come out national. So listen, we're going to do this all at once. Take all the cases at once that all these states that are trying to ban weapons and all that, and the people suing against them, right? So they got to come out nationally to say, all right, we need to stop this altogether, right? You cannot ban high-capacity magazines. You cannot ban assault weapons. It's unconstitutional. And people say, well, this is how the gun grab is. Oh, we're not trying to take your gun rights away. Oh, they do this all the time. It's the same rhetoric all the time. We're not trying to, I'm a gun owner. We're not trying to take your gun rights away, but nobody should have a weapon of war. Number one, they're not a weapon of war. And number two, if they were, who cares? It's our right to own it. And number three, it's none of your damn business, plain and simple. So if we want to own whatever weapon we want, we can open whatever. That's what the Constitution says. Whatever type of weapon necessary. It's not restricted to muskets or whatever the case. No. Whatever type of weapon necessary stated by James Madison. This is disgusting. It really is. Then what they'll do is, right, they go by increments, okay, little increment steps, right? What they do is like, oh, we're not trying to go all against the guns, right? Years ago, they said, we're not trying to take them, and now they're admitting that, yeah, we're trying to take your AR-15s. Now they're saying, yeah, we want your AR-15s. Even years ago, they said, oh, we're not trying to do that when they were doing it. And so after that, if they take that, what's going to be next is the caliber. And it's going to go from 10-round magazines to 5-round magazines to one, literally, a single-shot weapon. Like even something like this here will be banned. 8 rounds, 45 Magnum. 45 caliber. 8 rounds, and they would say, oh, that's too much. You're going to be banned down to 5 rounds and then 3 rounds and a single shot. And that's where they go. And they'll start reducing by the caliber. Next thing, the only thing you'll be on is single shot 22. That's it. Then they'll take that eventually. That's how they are. And but hopefully, pray to God that the Supreme Court gets this case up in front of them quick and puts an end to this crap once and for all. That's why you hear the president all the time, oh, Congress needs to act now. Congress needs to act now. You hear it all the time. Congress needs to act now and get some assault weapons ban bills on the floor. Congress can't do nothing. Why does people say that? Congress has no authority to do that. People don't understand that. That's why for 200 years since 1791, they can't ban these things. Congress knows damn well they can't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Then you got the uneducated people. Oh, yeah, it's an amendment. We could amend it. No, you can't. Not the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights that's set in stone. They're independent of government. Congress can't even touch it with a 10-foot pole. Starts right off in the First Amendment. Congress can make no law against these things. None. So if the Congress can't, the president can't, nobody can. And certainly not the governor. And the thing is, they know it's illegal. Okay, these states are banning these guns and all that. They know they're the ones in the wrong. They know they're the ones violating the law, not you. Like this, right? This is legal. I legally bought this, purchased it with my own money, right? My property. My right under the Second Amendment to have this and use it. God forbid. So who the hell is the government to come and say, oh, you can't have that now? Yeah, right. Come and try to take it. That's what I have to say. You know, they have no authority to do that. No power. Because if they did, what's the point of inalienable rights? That's what they are. The first 10 amendments are God-given inalienable rights. And if you're watching the show, you're a liberal or conservative, whatever, I'm not either. Okay, I am an independent constitutionalist. I have to make that clear because people say, oh, you're a right-winger or something. No, I'm not. I'm a constitutionalist. So here, George Soros, those who oppose my agenda are white supremacists. So more on white supremacy. Yeah. That's how they are now. This is just a common rhetoric now. You know, the president saying white supremacy is the biggest threat to this country. Nobody likes white supremacy. I mean, I'm not saying white supremacy doesn't exist. It does. But it's not as bad as people think it is. Black supremacy exists too. Asian supremacy exists. They have gangs out there like that. It's the same thing. It's all equal in this country. You know what I mean? It's not one dominant thing, and there's racist people in all colors. That's it. But it doesn't speak for, racist blacks don't speak for the majority of black people. Racist white people don't speak for the majority of white people. But yeah. This is the rhetoric now. You disagree with us, you're a racist. That's the motto now. So far-left billionaire George Soros declared that any person or institution that criticizes his global agenda is guilty of being white supremacist. Well, I'm going to tell you what right now, and I know he's not going to listen to this, but George Soros, if I could look you in the face and tell you, oh man, I got a mouthful of stuff I want to tell you. And some of it's not going to be Christian, like I tell you that right now. And some of it's going to be like a lot of insults and swearing, because this SOB, I'm going to be nice about this, right? This SOB, okay, is responsible for how many deaths in the world? He's the one that funds racism. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and all that. That's where the money comes from. This scumbag. Then he'll go, well, I'm a Holocaust survivor. No, you're not. This guy was a Nazi sympathizer. And the world paints, he's a great philanthropist. No, he's not. And I'm telling you one thing, when he meets the face of God, he's got a lot to count for. I'm telling you right now. This guy is one of the most evilest men on the planet. Him, Bill Gates, David Rockefeller's dead now. But yeah, these people got a special place in the lake of fire. I'm going to tell you right now. When it comes to evil guys, these people are at the top of the Illuminati. And, I could do a whole show on this scumbag right here. And I'm not going to say sorry for insulting this guy, because that's the least, okay? I'm trying to be nice, okay? That I'm going to say just like that. Trying to be nice. The death that's behind him, the cause of most of the stuff in this country going on is because of him and people like him. And you notice how they live long years too? I think he's like 80, 90 years old, whatever. These people live very long years because God does that purposely. He lets evil people live a long time because hopefully they could convert. And if he was to convert, that's great. Everybody could be saved, right? But he lets them live a long time to hopefully convert, and also let them have their years, because you know what? Guess what? When they meet judgment, and when it comes to judgment, right? Yeah, this guy's going right to the lake of fire. Unless he repents, and, I pray that he does. Everybody deserves another chance if they repent. But, yeah, this guy's evil as they come. So the George Soros founded Institute for Strategic Dialogue recently issued a talking point in the form of policy paper that attacked Elon Musk for pointing out the similarities between Soros and Magneto, the archenemy of X-Men in Marvel Comics universe. Unbelievable. Really is. Yeah, so long story short, got all these billionaires going at each other, George Soros, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, whatever. They all bicker at each other, right? I don't trust either one of them, to tell you the truth. They get accused of being anti-Semitic, whatever. Who cares? Seriously. I'm not going to even go through all that. It's just a waste of time. But yeah, this is just the rhetoric, okay? Anybody who opposes my global agendas, anybody who opposes my New World Order, the satanic, disgusting New World Order, one world government, yeah, you are a racist. I guess I'm one then, because I highly oppose your New World Order. I am an enemy to your New World Order. I will stand and fight against your New World Order. So if that makes me a white supremacist, which I'm not, then so be it. And that's the rhetoric, like I said. You disagree with them, you're racist, you're a bigot, whatever the case, blah, blah, blah. And the funny thing is, too, they'll call a black person a white supremacist. I seen it with my own eyes. Just because they don't agree with their agenda, you must be a white supremacist, too. And my friend, he's like, what are you talking about, dude? I'm black as they come. How the hell am I a white supremacist? Oh, because you sympathize with them. It's like, all right, yeah, whatever. Moving on. So Facebook declares war on Christianity, praising Jesus as hate speech and will be removed. So I've been looking in, there's multiple sources on this. I actually try. Sometimes when you see something like that, you got to really fact check it, Because, unfortunately, some people do come up with cockamamie things and or they get something wrong and they'll make something out of it. Like if they're a journalist or something, come to find out it's false. You know what I mean? So we always got to watch what we do here. So Facebook war against conservative and Christianity has reached absurd new heights with new social media dinosaur banning the phrase, Jesus died so you could live, declaring hate speech. And it has no place on the platform. But yeah, if you say it's Satan or, anything like that, I'm sure they'll praise you. They'll give you a verified account. But I don't doubt that for a minute. Really don't. But I do post a lot of stuff on Jesus on my Facebook, so I haven't got banned yet with that stuff. So one religion's fundamental principles would not be considered more or less susceptible than those others, regardless of whether moderator, like the Silicon Valley left-wing activists, agrees or not. Because that's where most of the moderators are. They live out in California, and they work at Silicon Valley, left-wing activists. So they'll sit there and ban you because they don't like you. So, however, when a Christian posts the statement, Jesus died so you could live, which is one of the core beliefs in Christianity, actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. Check this out, right? I'm going to highlight that. What we're going to do here is go to Facebook. You probably won't see it now, but let me see. Let's post it on Facebook here. It'd be funny. Bang, hate speech. How dare you say that? Oh, yeah, guys out there, please pray for my buddy Brian now. He's going through some problems right now. So he's going through some problems out there. So if you want to give a special prayer to Brian, but yeah. So I'm still trying to see if this is completely true or not. And right here, right? Some guy posted, Billy Howell posted this. Jesus died so you can live, and this post goes against the community standards on hate speech. So he said he appealed it, and he got a response. We have removed your post from the Facebook. So I'm going to give that a live beta test right now. So it probably won't show up at all. I mean, somebody's got to report it. So somebody probably reported it and said they got offended by it. But we'll see what happens. So, yeah. So did Hitler say, you speaking of the Nazis earlier, did Hitler say conquer a nation first, replace science with Christianity? And so, of course, Snopes has got to weigh in on it, right? These idiots here, right? They lie to you every day, Snopes.com. They claim they're the fact checkers. Right? The kingpin, the know-all, be-all of facts, right? I don't know how many times, seriously, how many times they try to say something was not true. I even tried to email them, contact them to show the proof of something. And, of course, didn't get nothing back because, they wouldn't want to go back and correct themselves, right? So the claim Adolf Hitler once said, to conquer a nation, first replace science with Christianity. Radin misattributed. So since 2015, spurious quotes attributed to Adolf Hitler about replacing science with Christianity has been making rounds with social media, and we found examples on Facebook and Twitter. And the precise statement is, to conquer a nation first, replace science with Christianity. And you got to see what year that was, because for a while, Adolf Hitler was actually riding the coattails of the Catholic Church. So here's the other thing, too, and the reason why I bring this up, too, and you can't trust anything Snopes has to say anyway, because everything they say is all jacked up to begin with. So, yeah, they got some stuff right, absolutely, facts and all that. But, most of the time it depends on, if it fits their agenda or not, the far left agenda. But regardless, okay? So the point is, Adolf Hitler, right, he grew up as a Catholic, not a Christian. Big difference between the two. And regardless if it isn't, you think it is not, that's not the point, okay? He grew up as a Catholic, right? And in his later teenage years, he became quickly fascinated with the occult. Got away from the Catholic thing, right? So he studied a lot in Theosophy by Madame H.P. Blavatsky, Aleister Crowley stuff. He learned a lot about the Eastern mysticism and everything else. He learned about all sects of the occult, right? So on his way up to power, that's how he got into power, because of these things here. Belonging to these secret societies and everything else. He belonged to the Vril Society and the Thule Society, which is the Society of the Black Sun. That's where the swastika comes from. And so that's who gave him his power, Satan literally, to give him his power to be where he was. The guy was possessed, no short of possessed. So he created his own later on. The official religion for the Nazis was not Christianity at all. It was Ariosophy. Ariosophy. So Ariosophy, that's what the official religion of the Nazi religion was. And what that was is, again, Hitler was a huge fan of the occult. Okay, he took all the writings from Madame H.P. Blavatsky from Theosophy and all the New Age teachings, all the Eastern mysticism, deep dark occultic stuff from the Vril Society, and then the Illuminati stuff from the Thule Society, and they mixed them all together to create Ariosophy. So basically, it was a hybrid. The Ariosophy was a hybrid of all the occults mixed into one. Okay, and called Ariosophy. That's why the man was deranged. And for the longest time, he rid the coattails of the Catholic Church. And if you notice, the Catholic Church really never opposed Hitler, right? There's a reason for that. FDR, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt here in America, he loved Adolf Hitler, adored him. And they all worked together. They did. Remember the New Deal? FDR was calling for. Hitler was calling for the New Order. So was Mussolini from Italy. So was the Pope at the time. All calling for the New Order, the New Deal. Yeah, the New World Order. That's exactly what that was. All at the same time. They tried to ram the New World Order in by force. And at the time, with the banking crisis, with the final push of the Federal Reserve confiscating American people's gold, Hitler told FDR, say, listen, it's like, if you want these Jewish people, you can have them. We'll ship them over to the United States. Take them. We want them out of here. FDR says, not my problem. Knowing damn well that they were going to be executed in the Holocaust and all that. So, yeah, I could be here for hours talking about that. But, man, so anybody had the idea of Hitler being a Christian? Okay, far from it. And no, he never said, in his version of Christianity was the Catholic Church, by the way. Because he was kissing up to the Pope. That's why he said that statement. That to conquer a nation first, replace science with Christianity. But, yeah, it's New Age Christianity. It's his version of it, not biblical Christianity. And again, that's just a kiss up to the Pope. That's all that was. So moving on here, Washington Times says, did Facebook just censor Jesus? All right, I mixed these articles up, so we just got done talking about that. So, yeah, we'll skip over that. So this is Washington Times. So I just actually wanted to bring this article up to back this one up. And I just posted it myself, so I just wanted to bring that up there. So, major sky event, fireball explodes over North Queensland, changing night into day, sonic boom reported. And let's see when this was, May 22nd, and occurred about 9:22 p.m. there. So it's probably, I think it's Eastern time there. That's Australia, so I don't think we would see that over here.
Night sky over North Queensland. Whoa! A meteor turned fireball as it entered the atmosphere and landed west of Townsville. Its light show captured by locals at home from the road, this from Cairns Airport, and even from the air.
It was very intense. I didn't know what it was at first. I thought it might have been a laser.
Flight paramedic Michael Paulson was between Charters Towers and Townsville when he saw the flash.
I've only seen this once before in the distance many years ago, and this was a lot brighter. And I thought, well, it missed us, so I'm going to get myself a lotto ticket and see whether it brings some good luck.
Experts have now confirmed what it was.
Well, definitely a natural object, a meteor, hitting our Earth's atmosphere. So this was a bit of rock that most likely broke off an asteroid.
That's now in thousands of pieces, which you might...
I love that, man. If you ever caught that, the experts confirm. Yeah. How does the experts confirm anything? That could have been. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying, yeah, that's a joke, but I just want to show you that, guys. And here, we brought this up last week, so I'm going to ask everybody in the chat room to help me with this one. So let me know if you think this is judgment trumpet or something, like... So.
Lighten up now. That's crazy, man. Man, that's crazy. It's like a trumpet. It's like a judgment trumpet. Judgment trumpet.
So, guys, you think that was Judgment Trumpet, and that was on the 23rd of April last month, yeah. So it doesn't say where it's from, I think. Of course, people think it was like for the rapture, and I thought rapture comes after the tribulation, not before. Yeah, whatever the case, but it doesn't say where it actually was from, though. That's the thing. So let me know in the chat room, guys, what you guys think. You think that was something of God, or was it something natural? You know what? I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to explain that natural. What would there be? Somebody blowing a trumpet outside just on time? You know what I mean? That makes no sense. But, yeah, I'm not saying it's not supernatural, because it might very well could be. So I think it's Nephilim under the ground because they are coming up. Yeah, it could be KWG podcasts. I think it's Nephilim under the ground because they are coming up. Oh, KWG podcast. If you want to promote your show on there, put it in the chat room in the comments too. Thank you, Not Typical. And let me see. It was something true. Yeah, so demons coming at you. Oh, it's kind of weird, though. You know what I mean? And it's not the only place, because I've been seeing videos here and there, people hearing trumpets, loud ones in the middle of the day or at nighttime. You know, I think that's a sign from God. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it might not be the trumpets the angels blew in Revelation. It might not be those, but it could be something like that. You know what I mean? Something that God's shown His presence. Because look what's been happening. Look what happened in Mecca. torrential rains and floods during Ramadan. The locusts last year and this year, like extreme lightning and stuff, flooded the area. They look at Brazil. They had this giant satanic festival. We showed that. And what happened? The very next day, the entire place got flooded out. So God's starting to show his presence. There's no doubt about that. I don't know if this is exactly that, but I don't doubt that either. So that could be up for debate. But still, that's kind of weird that, things like that just don't happen, without some kind of supernatural force being behind it. Yeah, of course, people say, oh, it's a rapture. Yeah, you're right, Bill. Yeah, the people be like, oh, it's a rapture. It's a rapture. Hands up. Hands up. You know what I mean? Like, no, the rapture comes after the tribulation. And, here's the thing, too. When you go back to the scriptures, right? Jesus says, as the days know, so shall be like before I return. Gives you this precise information. And he also says, as I have left, I will come back. Oh, speaking of that, make sure I got this next one here. Scientists, 3,000 year. Oh, yeah, let me get this one up quick here, too, before I forget. This was an awesome video. Sometimes I get the articles together, and at the last minute, I was like, oh, yeah, this would be cool to show in the show. Oh, yeah, let me get that up in a second here. So, Jesus says, as the days of Noah, so basically what happened in the days of Noah is happening now, right? And he goes, as I left, I will return, right? And when he, when he resurrected from the dead, when he was crucified, whatever, 3 hours, it was 3 hours of darkness in the middle of the day. So what did you say in Matthew, right? Before I return, right? Number one, the Antichrist has to be in play for us. That's 2 Thessalonians 2, right? Matthew 24. And he also says that the sun and moon will lose its light and the stars are literally going to fall from the heavens, right? So that's going to happen for us before his return, right? And every eye's going to see it. So we could clearly see that wasn't a rapture. But I want to bring this up too, where we're on the rapture thing. The Jesus thing, but I caught this today. And so this is a historian, a Chinese historian, talking about literally Jesus did 31 AD, that they had record of Jesus Christ in China. Now, granted, he explains in there that the gospel had not spread to Asia yet. But a lot of people in China felt the Holy Spirit move through them. And they had the right. Well, just check this out. It's pretty cool.
Here's another record in the Chronicles of Emperor Guangwu. It's dated 31 AD. Translated, it reads, summer, 4th month of the year, on the day of Renwu, the imperial edict reads, yin and yang, darkness and light, have mistakenly switched, and the sun and the moon were eclipsed. The sins of all the people are now on one man. Pardon is proclaimed to all under heaven. The Chinese had no idea about Jesus in 31 AD. No Christian missionary would have gone to China because Jesus had just died. There weren't any Christian missionaries. And yet in their soul, in their spirit, they recorded this incredible statement in their history of the latter Han dynasty. And in their soul, they said there's this mysterious, unexpected darkening of the sun. The sins of all the people are upon one man, and pardon is proclaimed to all under heaven. They didn't know what they were writing. And it says here in the Annals number 18 of Gui Hai, eclipse on the day of Gui Hai, man from heaven died. They had no idea what they were writing. But the Holy Spirit would have spoken to those Chinese astronomers and the emperor, and in their soul, in their heart, they sensed that this unexpected darkening that lasted for 3 hours had something to do with a man in heaven dying, from heaven dying, and pardon for the sins of the world. The Bible tells us it was about the 6th hour and there was darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. 3 days later, the Chinese recorded a rainbow that encircled the sun like a halo. During the reign of Emperor Guangwu on the day of Bing Yin of the 4th month of Jian Wu, a halo, a rainbow encircled the sun. And that's found in the history of the latter Han, Annals number 18. And that is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And I put it to you this morning, folks, that the ancient Chinese recorded the date of Christ's birth, the date of his death, and the date of his resurrection.
That's awesome. So I don't know who that guy was. I'm trying to figure it out and try to get the whole conference he was doing it. So trying to locate it, but that's amazing. And that's for those people too. Especially you should send that to those people. I put the link in the chat room. So many people say, there's no proof that Jesus exists. Yeah, the most historical figure in history. Yeah, there's no proof. Yeah, right. Those people are just idiots. They really are. I have to say that. And just no backing at all. Of what that claim is, because the thing is they don't believe in Jesus, so they figure they want to destroy it for everybody else. You know what I mean? So send that video to people and that say that. There's no historical proof that Jesus lived. Well, yeah, of course not. Yeah, that's why historians recorded him. Yeah, unbelievable. So check this out. Scientists say they found a new chapter of the Bible hidden under a section of text for more than 1,000 years. Let me shut that Facebook off here. It's be getting dinged all night. Ding, ding, ding. So a scientist said he found a chapter of the Bible hidden for more than 1,500 years. Researchers used ultraviolet photography to spot the text, which was hidden beneath the multiple edits. And researchers said the manuscript was a gateway to understanding phases of the Bible's evolution. So I read the story earlier, and scientists say they were doing an examination of these scriptures at the Vatican. Yeah, so I don't know if this is true or not. The thing is, there's so many of these things that come out, or a hidden testament or New Testament, all that stuff, or the Gnostics garbage, that you don't even know what to believe, because we know these people are out there to destroy the Bible. That's it. So, and there's many questions that rise with this too. So, and maybe this certain book or page they found had something like this. Who knows? But so they said they have found an old version of a Bible chapter that was hidden underneath the section for a text of more than 1,500 years. Gregory Kissel, a historian at the Austrian Academy of Sciences, announced the discovery earlier this year in the article New Testament Studies, a peer-reviewed academic journal published in Cambridge University Press. So you really can't go by peer review anything, because they go because it's peer review, it's professional. Now it's just a bunch of people together, different people that examine something and come to an agreement. That's all that is. Anyway, Kissel said that the ultraviolet photography to see the earlier text under the 3 layers of words on a pamphlet set and an ancient manuscript that people used to write over other words, but often left traces of the original writings behind. And they said the pamphlet sets were used in ancient times due to the scarcity of parchment paper. Words would be written on material repeatedly into several layers and covered in hidden words underneath. So, here's my questions with this, right? This, there was Matthew, yeah. They said it was Matthew chapter 12, I believe, yeah. And for instance, they said they released this here, which is most commonly used today. At the time Matthew 12:1, at the time Jesus went through the grain fields on the Sabbath, and his disciples became hungry and began to pick heads of the grain to eat, right? So they said the newly discovered text, Syriac translation, however, is slightly different. It says, begin to pick the heads of grain and rub them in their hands to eat them. So the question is this the actual text that Matthew wrote? And this page, and if it's even true, it is at the original page that was written on. You know what I mean? So there's many, many, many questions and variables that could go into this. Unbelievable. So what they'll do is they'll come out with this little piece, right? And then what they'll do later on is they'll say, they'll make some cockamamie thing up to try to disparage the Bible. That's what they'll do. So whatever your thoughts on that, guys. And I think it's just like scientists, yeah. So you think all this time that they would have everything, right? Yeah, and they always find something new, right? Yeah, and yeah, it's always to trash the Bible. And 300,000-year-old oldest human footprints discovered in Germany. So I like when they come out with these things like this because it just contradicts themselves. It really does. Yeah, because they're evolutionists, these people, and they'll push the dinosaur narrative with the asteroid and all that stuff. Yeah. So they'll say, humans dating back to 300,000 years. First of all, how do you know it's 300,000 years? Oh, we use radiocarbon dating. Oh, yeah, because that's accurate, right? I can radiocarbon date this Constitution page there, right? And you could literally do this if you know how to do radiocarbon dating. You could take tests on this. I'm sorry. Take 10 tests, right? All 10 test answers will not even be close to each other. And what they do is they take the number that sounds the best, and they call this science. That's radiocarbon dating. So they'll test something and run multiple tests, right? And not even close to each other. Not even close. Just random numbers, and they'll take the one that sounds the best. So that's science. Sounds like just somebody rolling dice to figure out something. You probably get more accurate if you roll a set of dice to figure something out, right? Yeah, that's exactly what that is. So I don't even know where they're going with the story. And yeah, that's where it stops. But I guess this was found in Germany. I don't know where the picture went, but it's right there. They said there's a human steps 300,000 years old. So I like to know, first of all, I'm asking because we know humans lived in ancient times, like with the dinosaurs. So we know because they were larger animals and people were larger back then too. You know what I mean? They had giants and everything else, as the Bible says. But yeah, how do you get that number 300,000? That's what I like to know. Who decided that? Oh, exactly, right on the dot, 300,000 years. Oh yeah, because you were around back then. Science is something you could observe and demonstrate. That's what science is. That's not science. When you sit there and guess a number, that's not science. Go look it up in the dictionary. Science is something you can observe and demonstrate. How do you observe and demonstrate that? You can't. Now, I'm not saying it's fake, okay, but you can't. How do you come up with that number? That's my question. Anyway, it's funny because when you bring these things to evolutionists, they'll try to make an excuse on it to fit their evolutionary doctrine. You know what I mean? So archaeologists discover a lost world of 417 ancient Mayan cities buried in remote jungle, connected by miles of subway highways, Walpole reports. So we talk about the mud floods and all that. Me and Brian wanted to do a show on us, the mud floods. So basically, if you research mud floods, what happens during the flood and all that, a lot of the mud covered lots of cities, ancient cities. And that's how they get on if you stand on the ocean, right? And you just stand there and the current buries your feet. You know what I mean? That's how it works. But the mud floods, during the Great Flood, covered a lot of the stuff. That's why you see a lot of ancient cities that have more ancient stuff underneath it. Like, in other words, you see it look like an ancient temple, right? And they'll have the temple and everything, and they preserve it. But underneath the temple is a bigger part of the temple that they don't show you. You know what I mean? And it goes way underground, but technically it was above ground before, and things like that. So, yeah, you'll find tons of these cities under the ground because of the floods. And just another piece of proof that the Great Flood happened. Because how else would they get under the ground like that? What if somebody come with a shovel? Let's bury all the cities together. You know what I mean? I like when they come up with this stuff because, again, it shows the proof of the Great Flood, shows the proof of the ancient cities. So archaeologists have found ancient Mayans built 417 cities interconnected by 110 miles of superhighways. Historians to rethink what they know about ancient Mayan civilizations. Yep, back to the drawing board, and they're saying, yeah, we got to go back to the drawing board to figure this out. Here's a quiz, for the scientists out there, right? You don't need to go back to the drawing board to figure this out. It's right here. The Bible, it's right where it is. Even ancient Aztec Mayan history talk about this too, the Great Flood too. It's not just the Bible. All ancient cultures talk about the Great Flood. How else do you think they got all of them on the ground and under the ocean? Hundreds of ancient cities across the Atlantic, across the Pacific. How do you think they got there? Perfectly intact. Because a flood happened. Scientists in Guatemala. So, if there's people here in the United States, whatever, they'll be like, scientists will be like, they'll make some cockamamie screws up. That's what they'll do. They probably wouldn't even show it in the media, to tell you the truth. But, yeah. That's pretty cool, though. Really is. And it shows proof of the Great Flood. And here, scientists surprised by strange underwater road discovered in Europe. Yet another piece of proof of the Great Flood. How does a road get underwater if there was no flood? It's not quite the lost city of Atlantis, but scientists have just uncovered a slice of history that had been swallowed up by the sea. Experts admit they even were surprised when divers unearthed the 7,000-year-old road that had laid buried under the sea of the mud. Yeah, the mud floods in the sea, right? Like the Great Flood. The ancient structure was discovered not by archaeologists, and I am not going to pronounce the names, I don't want to butcher them, but yeah. Strange structures in the water of the Bay of Gardenia, off the coast of Croatia. That's pretty cool, man. Let me see if there's any pictures of that. Well, I guess there's whatever the picture here, but yeah, more proof of the Great Flood. And people say, well, there's no proof the Great Flood happened. Are you kidding me? The Grand Canyon's a big proof of that. Mount Everest with billions of sea fossils all over the mountain is like hundreds of miles away from the ocean. How does sea fossils get all the way up on Mount Everest? Because there was a flood there. How does cities get in the water? Because a flood happened. How does a giant road appear in the middle of the ocean like that? Because there was a flood before. You don't need to get your peer review to understand this. Science is something you could observe and demonstrate, and you're observing exactly what this is. Right here, the Mayan cities under the ground, yeah. Footprints that go back, I don't think 300,000 years, but yeah, ancient times. Because a great flood happened. And check this out, last article here, map of Nephilim giants discovered in Ohio, 125 historical accounts. And map of Nephilim giants discovered in Ohio, 125 accounts right there. See the little numbers there? That's just the state of Ohio. And me and Brian's done numerous shows on this stuff here. We'll probably do more eventually, but I mean, there's so much. And now, people say, well, there was a time where people, there was a freak, once in a while that was 8 foot tall. Now, we talk about, 8 foot tall, yeah. We talk about 10 foot tall people, 12 foot tall people, 18, 22 foot tall people. We showed you the proof. All the mainstream articles, New York Times, back in the early 1900s, it was covering all this. And right about the 1940s and 50s, that's when they were told to stop covering this stuff in the mainstream media. All over the country. Big newspapers that go back to the 1700s all covered this stuff. All through the 1800s, the 1900s. And every single time when the remains, because where's the proof of the remains? Well, every single time the Historical Society of the State or the Smithsonian came in, took the evidence, and when people file a FOIA request to look at or examine these things, they claim that they got lost or stolen. It's the same story every time. This is like the biggest cover-up in the world, literally. And you talk about giants, people laugh at you. Even though it's on record, and just like the flood, right? You can't escape it. Two things you cannot escape, the flood and the giants. I don't care what kind of degree you got, what you think you know, you don't, okay? And I'm being cocky to these so-called professors and scientists, right? You can't escape these things. Because, again, it's not in the Bible, okay? And I'm sorry, it is in the Bible. It's very much in the Bible. The Bible talks about it, right? Then if you want to take the Bible out of the fraction, out of the equation, right? Take the Bible out of the equation. You still got the hundreds of ancient cultures that all talk about floods, a great flood, giant flood, right? All talk about giants. And most of these cultures didn't even know each other. They have the same stories for these things. And other ancient texts like the book of Joshua, Jubilees, Enoch, and all that stuff, all match the Bible. So, yeah, and it's funny when you bring this stuff up to people. They sit there, and what they'll do is they'll laugh at it, right? Because they know you're right. But they won't admit because they're too prideful, right? Then they'll start bragging about their credentials, right? Then when you get them in the corner, they start attacking you personally. That's when you know you won the debate. But yeah, how do you explain all this? Oh, it's just a couple. They'll say it's a couple bones. Don't tell me what it is because you didn't even know anything about it till I told you. And it's not just a couple bones found, okay? All right, these are full skeletons. Like the cave in New Mexico, over 200 skeletons found. They were 11 feet tall and no more. And that's just the skeletons. Imagine adding the flesh onto that. So you're looking at about 12 feet. Over 200 of these bodies in, the remains in the cave. And that's just one area, and you can't escape this stuff. So I got to get going, guys. So, yeah, just want to bring a couple little slides up here. So when you're sitting comfortable in front of your TV, keep in mind the actual patent for the television was filed as electromagnetic nervous system manipulation apparatus. And if you don't believe me, go look at the patents, U.S. Patent 6506148-Bravo2. Nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors. That's what the television is, literally. That's why people, if you ever notice kids, they just stare at it. You know what I mean? Like, they like this. Yeah, because it's mind control. That's what it is, legit mind control. And for the people who think the sea levels are rising, well, yeah. This is about 45 minutes away from me, and I know Bill O'Connell. He's in the chat room there. He lives in Boston, so this is not too far from Bill. Plymouth Rock, right? It's Plymouth, Massachusetts. So in 1620, this is a rock they use for the marker as coming to the land here, right? So according to I forgot what it is. I think. Don't quote me. I don't know what the inches are, a year or something like that, or centimeters, whatever, for rising sea levels. Well, if that was the case, right, from 1620 to 1920, it was like this. And here we are, 2023, and don't you think by now, if it was rising sea levels, that rock would be well underwater? And they had this thing caged for years. I remember when I was a little kid going to see this. And it's like literally encased in. With the water coming in, you can't touch it, nothing. It's like a little well sort of thing, right? You would think that this thing would be heavily underwater by now. Nope. And you go to any landmark. You go to famous restaurants on the water, famous amusement parks have been there for hundreds of years, over 100 years, whatever the case. And, yeah, there's no, sea levels rising. Look at Liberty Island, Ellis Island. It's been the same for how long? Where's the rise in sea levels? There is none. And like we say all the time, you don't need a Bible college to understand God's word. You need the Holy Spirit. So those are the people out there, or the academias, right? And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with going, to learn it through academia. But don't think that's you're an expert in the Bible because you got a piece of paper on the wall that says, I'm a graduate from a Bible college or something. You're not an expert. Nobody is really, the Holy Spirit's the expert. So you don't even need to go to those schools. You don't need to go to seminary schools. You don't need to go any of that stuff. Because none of those schools, none of those churches, none of those colleges could teach the Word of God like the Holy Spirit can. It's only the Holy Spirit that can write upon your heart. Not no minister, not no college professor, nothing. So it's a seminary school right there. Lawless theology. And these are the upcoming pastors. And it's not the pastors' fault. When these pastors go to these schools and all that, they think they're really getting the proper training and all that stuff. No. The Bible academies and schools have been compromised. And they teach lawless theology. Oh, the 10 Commandments, 10 Commandments are abolished and all that stuff. And you don't have to worry about that. And really, it's not what Jesus said. You notice how they excommunicate anything to the Old Testament except for the tithes? Yeah. They're paying the 10% of your tithes? Yeah. Hypocrites. That's what they are. So, and speaking of the rainbow stuff today, so if you go to Leviticus 20:13, it says, if a man also lies with a man, okay, as he does with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination, not a sin, but abomination. And they shall surely be put to death, for their blood shall be upon them. To talk about spiritually. Right? So, and this is a message to those churches out there who have the rainbow flags draping all over the place and telling people it's okay to do this stuff, right? And also here, Deuteronomy 22:5 says, the woman shall not wear what pertains to a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do this is an abomination before the Lord. So these two verses that, I want to put out there for those rainbow churches, I call them, yeah, you have no business having that flag on the church. None at all. And last year, talk about people, just in general, and this is so true, and biblically it's true as well. Edmund Burke, he was a lawyer, one of the founding fathers. He was a negotiator as well. Edmund Burke said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men, in this case today, good men and women, to do nothing. So if you don't do nothing about it, you're part of the problem. And people say, well, what could I do? Well, you can voice out against it. I'm not saying to take up weapons and go slaughter these people or whatever, but I'm saying, voice out. Do something, write blogs, do anything, share information. And that goes spiritually and physically. The evil that's running this country, politically, and the evil that's running them, spiritually. So don't forget to tune in this Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We got part 2 of this. It's a Marvel vs. Heroes from the Nephilim of old. So please check that out, and I'm going to put the link in the chat room. So here's the link, guys, for that show. If you guys want us to hit the notification button. It's a continuation from last week, but if you missed last week, don't worry about it, because it continues on more stuff, but you don't have to watch the first one to understand it. You know what I mean? So it's just, this is pretty cool. So it's me, Trey Harris, and Brian Reese. So we're going to be covering this here. And basically, we're going to show here, basically, with the Nephilim we talk about all the time, the men of renown from the ancients and the Bible and all that, how today's world and the Marvel and all that, they make them superheroes. Make them as the good guys, you know what I mean? And they're returning. These things are returning on the earth, and like the Bible says. And so we're just trying to wake people up to this stuff. That's all. Real interesting stuff. So, guys, if you like the show today, we got a PayPal, a Venmo, and a Cash App, and a Ko-Fi page, which 4 different ways to support this operation. And again, it helps support the streaming services for Rumble. Pays the rent in the studio and everything else, and just pays for equipment that we always need constantly, because the stuff is crazy. Anybody knows anything about computers, you know what I'm talking about. So we appreciate your help, and donation information's in the link in the chat description of the chat room. Yeah, right. It's pinned in the chat room. It's also in the description of this video as well. So PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and a Ko-Fi page, and it helps support this operation. And the best thing you could do is pray for us. That's number one, because it's more important than anything. Praying for us and all that good stuff. So we're going to get going here. So we'll see you Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Me, Brian Reese, and Trey Harris will be rocking the show Friday night. We'll be taking phone calls later. And, we're going to be having some good old fun. So God bless, shalom, and remember, you are the resistance against evil. Declaring war on the New World Order. TruthRadioShow.com.